Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. Let us continue really digging into this radical feminist book called The Sexual Revolution, Modern Fascism and the Feminists Fight Back. As Muslim women and Muslim individuals in general, we must study the enemy in order to defeat the enemy by the permission of Allah. So let us continue henceforth. Okay? Alright. We left off on her saying that more women are boycotting marriage and motherhood. In fact, women's increasing freedom has led to a demographic time bomb as parenthood becomes an unsustainable choice in developed nations that still refuse to pay for the work of care and childbearing. No. This is an illusion. You're not more free because you're not married. Humping with strangers is not the end-all be-all to freedom. When you are married, you still have your free will to commit adultery and be a moron and ruin your marriage and the lives of your children. But you are going to have more consequences for your actions. You have more responsibility. And when you are responsible, you have a boundary of behavior that you must adhere to. You're still free to go to the grocery store. You're not free to go clubbing and get banged behind a dumpster by some stranger who will give you a sack of crack or something. When you're in a marriage, you have duties and honors to that person, and you're free to express them in healthy ways. You're not enchained and totally just inhibited. Yes, there are abusive men who want to stuff their woman in a closet, take away her phone, and totally mentally break her apart. But I would argue that is the minority. You're still free in your marriage to express yourself, but you have parameters because you don't want to bring dishonor to your man or to yourself. You just gotta navigate new waters and learn how to express yourself in a way that is suitable. It's just a new challenge, a new chapter in your life. Now, she lies and says parenthood is unsustainable because women are not paid for their child leave as much as they should be, and there's not as many daycares. So she's whining about there not being daycares, yet she was cheering earlier about how the sexual revolution is undermining the nuclear family because women are more able to sleep around and not be married. So marriage into a family helps you have access to healthy family members who are sane and good, hopefully, to help you with your child responsibilities. Also, she got mad, remembered that women are dependent in marriage. See, so she's complaining that women are dependent in marriage, which literally makes the women safer to stay home and be with the children if they so please. Marriage, a healthy marriage, allows you to not need a nanny unless there's an emergency, like whatever. There's some minor occasions where you might need it. But the masjid, maybe, or some mother's group will allow you to find somebody to help you raise your kid. Now, you don't deserve to be paid more because you're a woman. Maternity leave is 6 weeks, usually. And yeah, there's some countries who have more. And you could argue that you want women to be paid more to stay home. But the taxpayers, however that program gets funded, there's some pro-government policies. But at the end of the day, women had children before and they had less government help than they do now. There's so many food banks. It's really easy to just survive. Like, think about it. If your man works, pays the bills, you're nursing, you're like breastfeeding, What more money do you really need? You got diapers, you got baby wipes, you get a free breast pump from the hospital. You can rent it or buy it depending on how your insurance covers it. Hold on, I'm gonna feel a sneeze coming up. Hold it in. In clothes, or like there's the Goodwill. There's so many. You can get used baby clothes, donated baby clothes, new baby clothes are not that expensive. You can make your own baby clothes. I mean, there's literally Medi-Cal in California for low-income families. There's government health care. What more do you want? We have more help as women now than we ever had. It's okay to be a poor mom. That's just part of life. And the women who are good mothers, even in poverty, are great, because there's plenty of women who have money and make terrible mothers. Money doesn't equal sustainability. It is sustainable. If this is what's absurd. Follow me here. People had no electricity before and still had kids. I was watching these villagers who live in the icy tundra in huts eating reindeer who are still having children. No internet, nothing like that. They're in the icy tundra, still having children. When you really look at humans and how durable we are, how we survive no matter what, you look at the Bedouins in the desert, they're having kids. You look at the women in Vietnam in the jungle states having kids. She talks about indigenous people in here, yet totally ignores the fact that women have always been having kids with much less than we have today. The feminists seem to think that, like, you gotta have this huge house, you gotta have all these cars, your baby has to have their own room. You know, your baby has to have all these stuff. Like, no. You have like, when you're with your baby in the middle of nature, the whole world is your television. All the birds are your radio. What I mean by that is you can take joy in the most simple things. It always makes me think of, which of your favors of the Lord will you deny? The bounty of Allah is huge. And you have a choice to be content with what you have, or to be like this feminist saying, well, I can't have kids because I don't make $200,000 a year. She'll be swimming with her money, childless, and she'll have a hoarding problem. I've lived with hoarders, and my great-grandma is a hoarder. She has a house that she doesn't even... like so many people are struggling to afford a house. She is 90 years old, has... has an entire house, and it's filled with stuff that she buys on TV. She just buys stuff, and then it just ends up in the empty house, as in no one's living in there. And she sleeps on my grandma's couch. I mean, the psychology of hoarder shows you that buying stuff is not going to make you happy. And traveling, okay, you go to one country, you see some mountains, you eat a croissant, you know, you go to another place, you eat some beans, yeah, cool, yeah, but who are you sharing those memories with? Oh, my friends. Friends come and go. It's not the same as you looking into the eyes of a child who literally came out of your body. It's just not the same. You are totally able to have children in the United States of America. You just want to have iPads. You want to have the latest shoes. You want to send your kid to an Ivy League university. You're reaching for luxury, reaching for excess. That is not indicative of you not being able to have kids. Just be fine with, like, being average. I never understood, like, I've been made fun of for my simple clothing all the time. My entire life. I had cousins who had money that always make fun of me for wearing, you know, clothes that were bought at the flea market. Even when I was working as a server, I had, like, Skechers as shoes while my coworkers would buy very expensive shoes in San Francisco. They're like $200 a pop. Like, no, you don't have to have that stuff. I don't brand worship. Who cares about your dumb school? Knowledge is everywhere on this earth. Cool, you went into debt, you have a high interest loan, you'll be paying it for 15 years. Good for you, but I could literally learn what you learned by buying the books and being self-taught or paying for a private tutor. And I won't be in debt. So who really won in the end? It's so retarded how these people think that we're unsustainable now in the most easiest time to live. It's like these women don't want to suffer at all. They have no grit. They have no grind. They don't even recognize how blessed they are to live in America with all the modern technology. And if you look at some women who are still living in poverty, they're happy. They have a family structure. It's so pure to see people who live with less and having so much happiness in their heart. Because it shows you that happiness is not just to be found in materialism. Unlike what this person is whining about. This is work that has until now been done mostly by women. Mostly for free. But as motherhood becomes harder and less affordable, as governments refuse to pay for the work of social care, it's not government's job to do that. Maintain your family. Government is not your savior. It's not the government's job. Have some accountability. Alright, the little one's up from her nap. Make this one short. I'm gonna go spend some time with the baby. But think about what this person said. It's just quite ridiculous. They want the government to pay for everything. Who's the government? It's us paying more taxes. Why do we have to be taxed to death so that you can figure out your life? No. Remember, she hates capitalism, so they're a filthy socialist or communist. No. You don't need all those luxuries. You as a woman can be the caretaker for your child, educate them, and stop worshipping at the altar of universities like only knowledge can come from them. All the credentialism, all that. No. You have way more opportunities as a married woman who's free and doesn't have to go to the 9 to 5 to indulge in knowledge, to spread knowledge, to make memories with your children than somebody who is not married and has to live off the government and always worry about, oh, did I go over? Did I go under? Will my housing coupon work? Am I going to be still approved for my Medi-Cal? Or you could just have a husband who pays for private insurance. If you get a man who will work, your life is going to be pretty good. And there should be some type of backup healthcare system, workman's comp if he gets injured. But other than that, you're going to be pretty alright. Governments refuse to pay. That literally just means taxpayers don't want to be taxed more and make less money in their paycheck. It's crazy. The government only has money from us people. You know, these people are crazy. Alright, let me know what you think. And it's a beautiful rainy day, so I'm going to go hang out with the baby. And you, go make some babies. Go have babies. Give your kid a big old hug when they come home from school. Children are a joy. Marriage is good. And men are not evil.